Welcome, marketing mavens, to another mind-bending episode of the Marketing Science Lab. I'm Alex, and today we're diving deep into the psychology of sharing. Not just any sharing, mind you, but the kind that goes way beyond your typical cat videos and avocado toast pics.
That's right. I'm Sophie, and we're about to unpack some seriously juicy research that could revolutionize how we think about content strategy. We're talking playlists, travel plans, workout data, and even apartments. The sharing economy has crashed our content party, and it's time to figure out why.
Exactly. This fascinating study from the International Journal of Social Media and Online Communities is like catnip for data nerds like me. It's all about uncovering the hidden motivations behind why people share these non-traditional types of content online.
And let me tell you, it's not just about racking up likes anymore. This research digs into the nitty-gritty of what really drives people to hit that share button. So, marketers, pens at the ready, or fingers poised over your favorite note-taking app, because we're about to drop some knowledge bombs.
Before we dive in, let's set the stage. Picture this: you're scrolling through your feed, and instead of seeing the usual selfies and food pics, you start noticing friends sharing their Spotify playlists, detailed travel itineraries, and even listings for their spare rooms. What's going on here?
It's like we've entered a whole new era of online sharing, and that's exactly what caught the attention of these researchers. They wanted to understand why people are suddenly so keen to share these different types of content. So they surveyed 200 people about their sharing habits across 6 categories: music preferences, travel plans, exercise data, physical possessions like apartments and cars, virtual possessions in games, and even dietary preferences.
Now, being the data nerd that I am, I love a good framework, and boy did this study deliver. They identified 6 key motivating factors that drive people to share this non-traditional content. Let's break them down, shall we?
Absolutely. Let's start with discovery. It turns out we're all just big kids at heart, always eager to learn and find new things. It's like that rush you get when you stumble upon a new favorite song, or a hidden gem of a travel destination.
Exactly, and this tees directly into how we can design better user experiences. Imagine a music streaming service that doesn't just let you share a playlist, but actively helps your friends discover new artists based on what you're loving. It's not just sharing, it's curated discovery.
Oh, I love that. It's like being a tastemaker for your friends. Which brings us nicely to the second factor, curating self. This is all about personal branding and self-expression. We're not just sharing content, we're crafting our online personas.
It's fascinating how this plays out across different types of content. With music and fitness data, for example, people are essentially saying, this is who I am, this is what I'm into. It's like creating a digital museum of yourself.
That's such a great analogy. And it's not just about showing off. It's about connecting with others who share your interests, which leads us to our third factor, connectedness.
Ah yes, the eternal human need to belong. In the digital age, sharing has become our way of reaching out and saying, hey, I'm here and this is what I care about. It's like sending out a beacon to your tribe.
Exactly. And smart marketers can tap into this by creating opportunities for users to form connections around shared interests. Think about how Peloton has built a whole community around fitness data sharing. It's not just about the workout, it's about being part of something bigger.
Great point. And speaking of being part of something bigger, let's talk about the fourth factor, collaboration. This is where things get really interesting, especially in the context of the sharing economy and virtual possessions.
Oh, absolutely. It's like we've moved from a me economy to a we economy. People aren't just sharing to show off, they're sharing to work together, to create value collectively. It's beautiful, really.
It is, and it presents some fascinating opportunities for marketers. Imagine a travel planning app that doesn't just let you share your itinerary, but actually allows your friends to collaborate on it in real time. You're not just sharing information, you're co-creating experiences.
That's genius. And it ties into the fifth factor, enjoyment. Because let's face it, if it's not fun, why bother? This is where gamification can really shine.
Absolutely. The study found that positive experiences were often tied to feeling connected and having fun. So as marketers, we need to ask ourselves, how can we make the act of sharing itself enjoyable?
Right? Like, instead of just letting users share their workout data, what if we created fun challenges or virtual races? It's not just about the metrics, it's about the experience of sharing those achievements.
Excellent point. And that brings us to our final factor, instrumental. This is where the rubber meets the road, especially in the sharing economy. Sometimes people share because there's a tangible benefit like making money from renting out their apartment.
It's interesting how this factor plays out differently across content types. With sharing economy services, it's more obvious there's a financial incentive. But even with something like sharing music preferences, there can be instrumental benefits, like building your reputation as a tastemaker.
Exactly. And this is where things get tricky for marketers. We need to balance these different motivations, sometimes within the same platform. It's not enough to just slap a share button on everything and hope for the best.
So true. We need to think strategically about which motivations we're tapping into and how we can address multiple factors at once. It's like creating a motivational cocktail, a little discovery, a dash of self-expression, a sprinkle of social connection, and maybe a cherry of tangible benefit on top.
I love that analogy, and it really highlights the complexity of what we're dealing with here. This isn't just about understanding motivations, it's about creating ecosystems that support and encourage sharing in meaningful ways.
Absolutely. And let's not forget the flip side. The study also looked at what leads to negative experiences. Privacy concerns were a big one, as was lack of engagement. There's nothing worse than sharing something and hearing crickets in response.
That's a crucial point. As we design these sharing experiences, we need to be mindful of privacy issues and build in safeguards. And we need to think about how to foster engagement around shared content. Maybe that means using AI to suggest relevant comments or reactions, or creating features that encourage users to interact with shared content in meaningful ways.
Oh, I like that idea. It's like creating a virtuous cycle of sharing and engagement. The more people engage, the more motivated others are to share, and so on.
Exactly. And that's really the big takeaway here. Sharing isn't just a feature we can tack onto our products or campaigns. It's a complex behavior driven by deep human needs and motivations. As marketers, our job is to understand those motivations and create experiences that tap into them in authentic, meaningful ways.
So well put. And I think that's a perfect note to end on. To all our marketing friends out there, remember, the next time you're designing a sharing feature or planning a campaign, think beyond the simple act of sharing. Consider how you can tap into discovery, self-expression, connection, collaboration, enjoyment, and yes, even those tangible benefits.
Absolutely, it's about creating value for your users, not just accumulating shares for the sake of it. And with that, I think we've given our listeners plenty to chew on. Any final thoughts?
Just one, go forth and share wisely. And remember, whether it's a playlist or an apartment, every share tells a story. Make sure you're helping your users tell stories they want to share.
Beautifully said. And on that note, thank you all for tuning in to another episode of the Marketing Science Lab. Until next time, keep experimenting, keep learning, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible in marketing.